Welcome, everyone, to Episode 7 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. My name is Remy, and you are listening to a very special episode recorded on a very special day, and I am joined by four very special Guardians. To begin with, Episode 7 marks our first broadcast as an official member of the Guardian Radio Network, which by itself is reason enough to celebrate, but today holds more than one excellent milestone, and the beauty of it all truly is in the journey. Today marks exactly 1 year since I rejected my Destiny pedestrianism and chose to step into the driver's seat of Destiny content creation, and oh, what a ride it has been. On August 7th, 2013, I could no longer hold in my need to talk about Destiny, and I released the first Dear Bungie video titled Introductions. In it, I spoke about what I would like to see in Destiny versus what Destiny actually was. A week later, I released the first part of my Gunsmith series, and 4 days after that, on August 18th, 2013, I received the first full-length response to my efforts from none other than SDF River. River, how are you doing on this very special night?
I'm doing great. I didn't even realize that was the first one that you received way back when.
Yeah. Did you send me a message before that?
No. I thought maybe I was probably one of many who sent you stuff like that. I was a fan, dude.
Nope.
It's like, man, check this guy's great videos. I just wanted to let him know how cool I think it is.
Yeah, your message really resonated with me, and I'd like to share it now. You said, professional criticism. Remy, I've subscribed to your channel because I share your vision. I thoroughly enjoyed watching your latest video. I find that gunsmithing is what we would all love to have added into Destiny. I would like to hear your thoughts about your own commentary. You seem to be reading from a source material, and I understand that this foundation would be needed to keep pacing with the video you have edited. Have you thought of doing a more off-the-cuff approach with less reading and more improvisation? I know you're excited for Destiny. Hell, we all are. However, I think your reading from a script is severely muffling the excitement you feel from Destiny. It was from your introduction video that made this ring in my ears. Quote, I want to talk about it, wear it, eat it, share it. I can't stop. End quote. As a side note, I'm so excited for Destiny that I also want to eat it. Lol. I was thinking to myself, hell yeah, I want to eat it too, Remy. You can completely ignore this message, and I still think your channel will be a success. I've already subscribed and look forward to seeing much more things from you. I'll even join the Dear Bungie group. Just something to consider is all I'm pointing out. Hopefully we'll see each other Starside Guardian. SDF River, sit down, fools.
Man. That was so long ago, man. Golly. Yeah. I still want to eat Destiny, by the way.
Right? Who doesn't? Yeah. Who doesn't want to eat Destiny? I'm ready to go to the supermarket, pick up my Destiny microwavable dinners, fallen fries on the side. Like, I'm there. We are there. But I definitely agreed with your assessment, but I wasn't yet sold on skipping the script. There is a real power in choosing your words ahead of time, and I hadn't yet seen the light. Thank you for that awesome message, and thanks for being on the show.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for having me.
Interestingly, you weren't the only person to contact me on August 18th of 2013. I also received a message from our very own Crimson Warlock. Warlock, how are you doing on this very special evening?
I'm great. I'm super excited to talk about Destiny, and I think that is hilarious that we both contacted you on the same day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Absolutely. Your initial message was shorter, but no less awesome. You said, Hey, I just watched both of your videos, and I would love to talk to you more about customization! Exclamation point. I am a crafter first and foremost in RPGs and an explorer next. I know that Bungie has hinted at a lot of those two elements working together for some of the coolest, if not best, loot. Uh, Getting this message and the subsequent emails greatly boosted my confidence in continuing the series and in pursuing the empire I am currently building in Destiny. Thank you for writing to me, and thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you. I actually want to say that was kind of my leap into it. When I first got familiar with Destiny, I wanted to be a part of the community. I first saw it at E3, and then I heard Alan's stuff, and then I thought, how could I do this? And about a year later, here I am with you guys with a podcast, and I think it's an awesome opportunity, and I thank you for it, Remy.
You are welcome. I appreciate it. You two both totally stood out. I did receive messages, saying like this is cool or this isn't cool, but nothing in compared to what you two offered me in terms of like it wasn't just this is cool, I can't wait for more. You guys challenged me. You guys said, well, I think that you can make something even better than this, no matter how awesome this is. And that really helped me out a lot. And I appreciated that. And yeah, here we are. So I continued making videos, and 2 months later, in October, I responded to a Guardian Radio tweet looking for people who wanted to call into the show. Mark accepted me, and on episode 34 of Guardian Radio, I received my first taste of being part of a live Destiny conversation, and it was delicious. Like we were saying, time to eat Destiny. It was at that point that I began really looking into the idea of running my own Destiny podcast. 2 months later, the topic of Guardian Radio expanding was being tossed around, so I contacted Mark with my ideas, explaining that I didn't want to step on toes, but I also didn't want to miss out on a golden opportunity either. He told me to make my show happen, and then we would revisit the idea. As you can probably guess, the first person I invited to co-host was SDF River, and that was followed shortly by Crimson Warlock. The three of us spent several months working through technological hurdles and scheduling conflicts and becoming great friends in the process. There was still one position not filled, and right before we started broadcasting live, I found the perfect person to fit the detail-oriented role of fact finder extraordinaire. His name is Jez. Jez, how are you doing on this most special night?
I'm feeling much clearer.
You're sounding much clearer.
Much.
It's amazing. It is a great day. It's strange to think about now, but I originally offered your position to Fantastic Jackie from Destiny Dispatch. I wrote this huge message basically begging her to join and just never heard back. But, as they say, all's well that ends well, and at the end of the day, I couldn't ask for a better BS detector. Thank you for being on the show.
It's my pleasure being here.
Awesome. It is great to have you. Our last panelist joined Guardian 1 in May after hearing me officially announce our group on episode 60 of Guardian Radio. Leo, how are you doing tonight?
100% muted.
Good job. Way to go.
Awesome.
Probably
yeah.
for the best.
Well, that doesn't make me feel special anymore.
Happens to all of us.
Your first message to me was awesome, and I read, "Hi, hope you're having a good day. My name is Leo. Heard of your community on Guardians of Destiny, and I just had to join. You guys seem to represent more of my style of gaming, so I'm here hoping to put my little grain of sand in your group. Like I said, I love the idea, and really, if I can help in any way, shape, or form, don't hesitate to ask. I would love to see G1 become a name in the Destiny community. And really, Leo, you've helped so much in so many different aspects. It really just made sense for me to add you to the show because you have great ideas. You have a background in management, project management, and I appreciate your input. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And so that's it. Here we sit, a very special podcast on a very special day with a very special group of Guardians. So let's get right to it. I would like to begin with the number one most asked question and Dato's very favorite question. Will our beta data transfer to the final game? And I wish to offer that I am 50-50 both on thinking if it's going to happen and hoping whether or not it's going to happen. Because when it comes down to it, you know, there was some pretty big caps that may or may not be present in the final game, like 25,000 glimmer. Is that the most you're going to ever be able to accumulate before you're forced to buy something? Who knows? Maybe that was just put in place so people didn't just harvest the entire, just keep harvesting. There was a certain amount of limit for each of them. So I would say 50-50 on the chance. Like, I still have access to all of my data. Everything's just still sitting in there from the last game that I played. Everything in my vault, everything on my characters. And so part of me really hopes that everything carries over. Part of me doesn't care because I will have accumulated all of that and more within the first week that Destiny is out. So I'd like to turn this over to you guys. Let's start with River. What do you think, River? Let's go. What do you think the ratio is that it's going to happen, and what is the ratio that you care and why?
Okay. Just judging from what we're seeing, especially on like the companion app and on Bungie.net, our stuff's not wiped. I think that's a really important thing to really consider, because I know internally whenever Bungie would play Destiny in their end, they would, every time a new build comes out, their shit would get wiped. So ours isn't gone yet. I think that it's a strong possibility we might have our data transferred over. Now, do I care? Not really. I would rather have it all wiped, personally. I would rather start from the beginning and work my way back up, because I want to kind of re-experience most of the things that I did in the beta just 1,000 times better.
I hear you, and actually, I've read this particular comment multiple places, and Chicken Lord is saying it in the chat. He hopes it does not carry over, and I'm curious to know what the difference would be to you. Let's say that it does carry over. Do you think that it would be are you looking at everybody to restart, or are you just, or would you be willing to wipe your Guardians and start over, but keep the, the different things that you picked up, those odd coins and things like this?
No, wipe it all. I will find them again.
Awesome. Crimson Warlock, what are your thoughts on this? Percentage that it's going to happen, and your percentage, what are you interested in and why?
I'd probably say it's still 50-50 as well, just kind of up in the air. We don't really know. But here's my take on it. First off, what I want, if our characters got wiped, the reason why I would want that is because me being an explorer, I want my Grimoire score to be 0 again, so I can find those ghosts. I hope that if nothing's wiped, then those people who found the ghost that didn't give them anything will get something. Those people who got into those areas and found some ghosts, hopefully they'll get something extra for that. But I kind of want it to start over, just because I like starting from scratch, especially with launch. But my thought on this is, it's fairly popular nowadays to offer early access for pre-orders, and I'm thinking maybe the beta was our early access.
Yeah,
everyone starts at level 8 or whatever and can go if you were in the beta.
They did mention that multiple times that the beta was basically a full launch for them. Now that could mean that they're going to let us keep this stuff. It could mean that just what they were doing was the very beginning of it. And you bring up an interesting point, one that I hadn't thought about previously. I got quite a few of those Grimoire cards as well, and because I wasn't able to look at the information as it came in, because much of it was redacted. Perhaps it would be best if everything was wiped again, because then I would be able to look at it as I was picking it up, instead of going back through all of these cards that I've already looked through and have found no useful information. Instead of it all becoming information that's usable, starting over. That's a very interesting look at it, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one too, Remy.
Awesome. So let's see, Jez, what do you think? Percentages that we will, percentages that you care, and why?
I think we probably have about a 5% chance it might stay, but from a competitive level, I don't want that to happen. Like, for any MMO background, you know that that race for the first world raid clear is going to happen as soon as the game starts. And to have some people already at level 8 is going to skew that quite a bit.
Agreed. And okay, awesome. Leo, what do you think? Percentages, and do you want to or not?
Well, I don't know. I'm probably 50-50, just like you guys. However, I used to think that the fact that we could still see our stats and everything in the companion app was a symbol that we were actually going to keep at least a lot more, if anything, than what some people had guessed. However, the more I wait, I'm certain now, really, that what we're seeing in the companion app and all those stats that are remaining, Bungie is just leaving it there so that we have something to look at from Destiny. And that way we can sort of satisfy that itch. But I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in the 20th of August, around those dates, if we actually just see a sudden wipe. And actually in the chat, they're saying it perfectly. I mean, they were talking about, is the beta going to be exactly the same missions as the campaign, or is it going to be a slightly different story? Because if they are going to do it a slightly different story, then yeah, it makes sense that they'll just do a complete wipe to have you start fresh with differences. But if it is identical, then I wouldn't be that surprised if we are allowed to keep something. Maybe not necessarily the armor that we have to start at a level 8, because that is a big difference for a regular player, not like most of us here, if not all of us here, who will just sit down, spend 24 hours and get to whatever is the max level they can get before they pass out.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they just do something, either make some copy armor, which is maybe cheaper, or do some glimmer conversion. Because from what we've seen, every single armor set you have could be theoretically purchased, just that the probabilities of it coming out are, who knows. So they might just do that. They might just give us a glimmer deposit. They might just give us some free XP, which was something the Mass Effect had originally done with Mass Effect 3, where they let you play on some levels, they would let you do some other things, and pass on information from previous games. They would just give you some free stuff. And I think that's probably the most likely thing they would do, if it weren't just the idea of, nope, we'll wipe everything. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, until the 20th of August, or mid-August, or end of August, somewhere around those dates, I noticed that I went from giving 10 days to just give the entire month. But at some point, if we get wiped or not, that would be my deciding point if we're going to get anything at all.
Well, we are getting an emblem, you know.
Some of us are getting two.
No. All beta participants do get like that emblem, but only specific people who hit that time frame get an additional one.
Exactly. Mjolnir. What's that?
That explains a lot.
Mjolnir 23 says he'd like it wiped because whenever he played Crucible, he was always looking out into space or drooling over Mars and Venus.
Yes,
and
sir.
I kind of really agree with this. There was many times when I thinking, you know what, this is just the beta. This isn't my final score that people are going to be looking at for the rest of my life. I thought about that same thing. You know, there was many times I was just checking
Crucible
the place
stats have
out.
to be Crucible stats have to be wiped out. There is no way the competitive community will allow that to stay because they'll
Yeah,
Well, if
because no matter, I mean, everyone who at one point has been competitive, and I include myself, when you try to be a play hard and decide to play, or at least claim that you play much better than what you normally do, I include myself in this list from time to time. Everyone wants to blame their KD that I don't know how to play the game. I don't know what I'm doing. This is why my stats are so low. So because of that, I guarantee the Crucible stats will be wiped. Maybe
So-
not
Yeah.
the medals.
Well, if
If
they
they keep some
wipe
of those
that-
stats, I don't think they will. If they do, it would only be like medal stats. But at least your KD, definitely that will be completely wiped.
Interesting. That is a really good point. That is a really good point. I think that if they're going to wipe the stats, then they're going to have to wipe the character. You know, like
Yep.
I feel like that's coming. And there was a moment in time, like right after they cut us off from our life support, the beta, when I lost access to everything. Like everything in my companion app disappeared, and I thought, this is it. You know, there is no more. They're taking this from me, and that's final. And I was okay with that. I didn't see a big problem with that at all. But then they came back. All of my stats came back. Everything that I had came back, and it's occurred to me that it probably is just like you were saying, some kind of keeping us held over until then. You know, like giving us a chance to look through the details. Like perhaps a lot of people didn't really get a chance to check it out because they were too busy just focusing on the game itself. You know, and that's kind of something that I did too. I didn't notice a lot of stuff about the companion app until after I was no longer available to play the beta. So I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a tearful moment. You know, Deej is going to address the community and say, well, you know, next week or even tomorrow, you know, tomorrow is our launch, and so today we have to wipe everything. And I'm ready for that. I'll accept that. I would like to keep what I have, just because it's kind of just where, like, I could pick up. You know, I would keep my level 8 Titan and Warlock and Hunter. Like I don't really feel like I necessarily have to replay through those first 8 levels. You know, like I know how to use the grenade. I know how to use my special. So having to go through all of those again isn't necessarily something I'm super interested in. But this brings up the point of whether or not it's even going to be the same game. You know, like the same story missions. These could have been the placeholder story missions that they had while they were working on other things. And so I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it to be wiped. I'm ready for these things to be gone, so I can start my real destiny. I'm ready to start my real destiny. So I don't know.
You're here.
yes, please. Yes. Bring it on.
Yay.
totally ready.
Tomorrow's like 1 month left, right?
Oh man, is it tomorrow's one
Tomorrow
month?
is 1 month.
1 month and 1 day though, yeah. Oh no, you're
'cause
right.
tomorrow's wait, what's today?
No, today's the 7th.
Ah,
Tomorrow would be the
confide.
8th.
Just
But
make
no, you're right.
September 9th come now.
You're right, because on the 8th I will be going down to wait for it for when the 9th clicks over at midnight. So you're right. Tomorrow
Oh,
really
okay.
marks 1 day.
Just letting you guys know, I'm in the future. It's already the 8th.
Oh, I hate your face.
Oh my god.